Hey everyone, my name is Michelle and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to do my February reading wrap up. So February wasn't really the best reading month for me and I blame my Nintendo Switch for that. Because basically I've become really addicted to playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So that's what I've been doing this month in my spare time and I haven't read a lot. In total I finished 3 books and I'm also halfway through 2 other books. It's not like I haven't read anything, but yeah, I just haven't read a lot for my standards. And yeah, this month I do want to read more and like play a little bit less on my Nintendo Switch. But yeah, I still have read some books, so today I'm going to tell you all about them. So yeah, let's just get started with my February reading wrap up. So the first book that I finished this month was Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Six of Crows duology and this was a reread for me because last month I read Six of Crows and I wanted to continue my reread of this duology. So I read Crooked Kingdom. I listened to the audiobook. The first time that I read this was like when it just came out, so that's like 3 years ago, I'm not exactly sure. But this duology follows 6 sort of outcasts who go on this sort of mission together, and then in the second book they have to deal with the aftermath of that. That's really all I can say about it because the plot is like, there's a lot about it, so I cannot really say anything about it without spoiling. And yeah, I really enjoyed reading or listening to Crooked Kingdom again. I definitely prefer this one to Six of Crows. I mean, Six of Crows is still amazing, but Crooked Kingdom is definitely the better one out of the 2 in my opinion. I think the best part of this duology, I've said this before, but that's really the characters, because this series has such a wide range of characters and they're all so interesting, so fleshed out, and I love reading about them. I love following their adventures. I also really love Leigh Bardugo's writing styles. She's just a very good fantasy writer. I also love that this duology, like the world is sort of inspired by the Netherlands, so there are a lot of Dutch words in this, which is a bit weird if you are Dutch, because especially if you listen to the audiobook, because yeah, some words are pronounced very weirdly, at least to me, because in Dutch we would pronounce them differently. But you know, this wasn't written by a Dutch author, there's just some Dutch words in it. So that's the only sort of critique I have on the audiobook, but of course I can understand that you cannot really pronounce it completely correctly Dutch if you aren't Dutch. But yeah, it's sort of weird if you're reading an English book and these weird Dutch words pop up. But yeah, I also love to like recognize those things. And yeah, I cannot really say anything else about Crooked Kingdom. It's a book that is very popular, everybody loves it. I don't think I've seen like a single very negative review about this book or about this book duology yet. Yeah, it's really good. It's definitely of high quality. And I gave Crooked Kingdom 5 out of 5 stars, just as I did the first time. And yeah, I just really love this series and now I'm all prepared to read King of Scars. I still have to do that, but yeah, it was really nice to sort of refresh my memory because I had forgotten so much. But yeah, I really love this duology, as do many other booktubers. Then the next book that I finished was Rust and Stardust by T. Greenwood. This book tells the true story of a 12-year-old girl named Sally Horner who was abducted by an older man back in the 1940s, I believe. And it is also said that this true story was the inspiration for the famous novel Lolita. I'm not exactly sure how much of that is true, but that's what this book is sort of saying. And yeah, what can I say about this? It's a true story of an abduction of a very young girl. It's very disturbing and very tragic. I think it was very well written and yeah, I sort of, well, not like it, but I found it interesting to read about. But it also made me really sad because this book does not shy away from some of the more gruesome details. And yeah, it's a really sad story, and like it's so weird to sort of think that this really happened. What I also liked is that this book is told from different perspectives, so from Sally herself, but also from her mother and her sister and people she meets along the way whilst she's on the road with her abductor. So as a reader you see all these different points of view of her story and what other people think of her and how her family deals with it. So that was again, very heartbreaking to read about. I like this book, but it also made me feel very sad. Like, it's definitely not an uplifting book. It's a very tragic story, and I think it was told very well, but still, don't read this if you want to be in a good mood, or don't read this like if you cannot really like handle this sort of thing. So yeah, I think it was a good book, but I would not reread it because it's just not a it's not a sort of story that I want to relive again. And yeah, I just felt so sorry for Sally, and yeah, that's all I can say about it. Like, it's sort of weird because it is a good book, but it's also not a very happy one. So I'm a bit mixed about it. But I gave it 4 out of 5 stars because, as I said, it is very well written and it is very good. But yeah, it's quite a downer, and yeah, that's all I can say about it. Then the final book that I actually finished this month was Can You Keep a Secret by Sophie Kinsella. Little bit of background information about me. When I was younger, when I was like a teenager, I used to love Sophie Kinsella books. Like, I've reread them so many times. I've read the entire Shopaholic series and also many of her other novels. And when I was feeling like a bit in a reading slump, as I said before, I decided to listen to the audiobook of Can You Keep a Secret, one of my favorites of Sophie Kinsella when I was younger. Because it is such a fun and more lighthearted story, you know, it's a bit of a chick lit. And I was very happy with that decision because I really enjoyed this audiobook reread. So Can You Keep a Secret is about a woman named Emma who is in her 20s, and she's a nervous flyer. One day she has to take a flight from Scotland back to London. She is sitting right next to this man. The flight goes to a bit of a bumpy ride. She gets very scared, and in moments of panic she tells this random guy all her personal secrets. Like personal secrets, how she pretends to read famous books but actually doesn't. She just reads the back. Things about her home life, things about what she thinks about her colleagues, all these sort of little personal secrets that she doesn't want to get out. And then the following day she discovers that the man who was sitting next to her on the plane and who knows all her secrets is actually her boss, and she meets him at work. And yeah, that is sort of the premise of this book. It is very cutesy, it is very romancy. It was a reread, so I knew what was going to happen. Do I think this is like a very high quality book? No, but I think it's a very entertaining sort of chick lit. Of course, for me this is also a bit nostalgia. I really loved this book when I was younger, so I still just really enjoy it. And let me tell you, it was the perfect book to sort of get me out of that reading slump, because this book takes no concentration to listen to or to read whatsoever. It is fun, it is cute, it is over the top. It's definitely not very realistic, but I just really enjoyed my time listening to this book, and yeah, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I have also 2 books that I've read a big chunk of so far, so I'm going to mention those real quickly as well. First of all, Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray, the 3rd book in the Diviner series. I'm about halfway through. I'm also listening to the audiobook because the audiobook is amazing. Many people say this, but the Diviner audiobooks are really good. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it just as much as I did with the first 2 books. I like that now all these characters sort of get together more. Don't know how it's going to end yet. Maybe I will be very devastated by all the things that are going to happen, but so far so good, and really love the writing and the characters and everything. And then I'm also finally reading The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, the 1st book in the Mistborn trilogy. Finally, it is happening. I'm around page 200. So far I'm really enjoying it. It's really good, but as I said, my concentration wasn't the best, so that's why I put it down for a little bit. But I definitely want to pick it up again and finish it in March, because yeah, it's really good. The writing is really good. I'm really sucked into the story, and yeah, hopefully I will finish this one very soon as well. So that was it for my February reading wrap up. A bit smaller than usual, but still, I've read quite a few really good books. I haven't read any bad books, so that is something positive, I guess. But I am really ready to get back into the reading mood again, and yeah, as I said, play a little bit less on my Nintendo Switch, hopefully. But still, you know, sometimes you read a lot, sometimes you read less, and yeah, this month it was a little bit less, but that's all fine. But this was it now for this video, and if you like this video, please go subscribe or maybe give it a thumbs up, because I would really appreciate that. And hopefully I will see you again very soon in my next video. Bye!